You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Feel like who art Ed?
Try to slice it.
Who art is Mr. Wood, art Ed me?
Good. Either way, it's ambiguous. It works on so many levels.
I know.
That's off to a great start.
Welcome to Who Arted, weekly art history for all ages. I'm your host, Kyle Wood, and today we're looking at Maya Lin and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. The creation of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was political, it was cultural, but also for a lot of people, very personal. Its creation was fraught with controversy, but ultimately it brought healing. It began with Jan Scruggs, a former infantryman who was determined to ensure that his fallen comrades would not be forgotten. He had served in Vietnam. He carried the invisible scars of war and a deep sense of obligation to those who had made the ultimate sacrifice. The U.S. began advising and aiding the Vietnamese army in the 1950s, and they began to send combat units to Vietnam in 1965. After years of fighting abroad and protests at home, the last military unit left Vietnam on March 29, 1973. It was just a few years later, in 1979, that Scruggs, along with fellow veterans and supporters, established the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. The goal was to raise funds to build a memorial to honor the fallen and provide a space for reflection and to find solace. This grassroots effort captured the attention of a nation still grappling with the legacy of the Vietnam War. Donations poured in from veterans, families of the fallen, and ordinary citizens, demonstrating a collective desire to heal the wounds of a divisive conflict. With funding secured, they focused on selecting a site for the memorial. They sought a location that was both prominent and contemplative, a place that would command respect while offering a sense of peace. After careful consideration, they chose a 2-acre plot on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., nestled between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. This placement is symbolic as it positions the Vietnam Veterans Memorial within the heart of American democracy, acknowledging the sacrifices made by those who fought in its name. When creating a memorial as a tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice, only the best art could do. And so the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund launched a national design competition, inviting submissions from architects, artists, and designers across the country. The competition guidelines emphasized the need for a design that was, quote, reflective and contemplative in character, end quote, that would honor the fallen without making a political statement about the war itself. Over 1,400 entries poured in, reflecting a diverse range of artistic styles and interpretations. A jury of renowned architects, landscape architects, sculptors, and design professionals evaluated each submission, seeking a design that met the competition's criteria and conveyed the profound emotional weight of the war. Enter Maya Lin. She was born in 1959, the child of two creative professionals. Her father was Henry Huan Lin, a respected ceramicist and dean of the College of Fine Arts at Ohio University. Her mother, Julia Chang Lin, was a poet and professor of English literature. They supported Maya's creative inclinations and encouraged her intellectual curiosity. This foundation proved essential in shaping Lin's own artistic journey and her unique approach to design. But her fascination with the built environment stemmed from a childhood spent exploring the unique architecture of her hometown of Athens, Ohio. The town was a blend of traditional New England styles and mid-century modernism, and it sparked an interest in the interplay between structure and the landscape. This early fascination led her to pursue architecture at Yale University. Now, Yale is one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in the United States. It's also just one of the greatest art schools in the world. Yale's program encourages students to push boundaries of artistic practice and explore new modes of visual expression. As Lynn was studying at Yale, she was influenced by the environment as well as the curriculum. As she walked around the campus, Maya Lin, an architecture student, no doubt took notice of the grand architecture all around her. Particularly the Memorial Rotunda, a solemn chamber honoring alumni lost in war. The rotunda, with its inscribed marble walls, offered a tangible connection to the past, and it instilled in Lynn a deep appreciation for the power of memorials. It was against this backdrop that Maya Lin, still an undergraduate, entered the national competition to design the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in 1981. Lin's submission was a stark departure from traditional war memorials. It consisted of two black granite walls slicing into the earth and meeting at an angle. Now, this design was not just an aesthetic choice. It was deeply rooted in her personal experiences and her understanding of war's impact on American society. Growing up during the tumultuous Vietnam era, she witnessed the deep divisions and emotional scars left by the conflict. She sought to create a space that transcended politics and people's feelings about the war. Her design is not so much about the acts of war, it's about the people. The memorial she envisioned would be a place for quiet reflection and healing, where visitors could confront the raw emotions of loss and grief. The work is simple yet profound. The polished black granite, reflective like a mirror, forces visitors to confront their own image alongside the names of the fallen, creating a sense of connection and shared humanity. The chronological listing of names, starting at the apex and extending outward, traces the escalating trajectory of the war and the mounting casualties. The walls themselves, converging in a V shape, symbolizes the wounds of war, the gradual process of healing. We go down, but we come back up. Lin's unconventional approach was very thoughtful, deep, and meaningful, but it was also met with resistance. Initially, veterans groups and politicians criticized the design's starkness. They argued that it was too somber, focusing on the loss and the grief rather than creating a heroic narrative celebrating the courage of the soldiers who had made that sacrifice. Adding to the controversy, there was Lin's youth and her Asian American heritage, which critics targeted. Some questioned her ability to understand the complexities of war and its impact on American veterans. I think it's worth noting that it was a blind judging process. Submissions were reviewed by a panel who didn't know the identity of the artists. It was only after Maya Lin's identity was revealed that people began to question her ability to think deeply and understand the complexities of war and its effect on American society. Now, despite the initial backlash, Lin's design prevailed. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated on November 13th, 1982, and it quickly became a place of pilgrimage for veterans, families of the fallen, and the American public writ large. Its quiet dignity and contemplative atmosphere were exactly what people needed. It has fundamentally reshaped the way we think about memorials, shifting the focus from a singular grand narrative of heroism to the myriad individual identities and stories and lives lost in the conflict. Lin's design has also had a profound influence on the field of architecture, inspiring a generation of artists to embrace minimalism and explore the emotional power of space and form. Beyond the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, Maya Lin has continued to create powerful and thought-provoking works. Her portfolio includes the Civil Rights Memorial in Montgomery, Alabama, a tribute to the martyrs of the civil rights movement. She also created the Wave Field, an undulating earthwork on the University of Michigan campus that explores the relationship between humans and the natural world. Maya Lin's work is characterized by its sensitivity to context, its exploration of materiality, and an ability to evoke powerful emotions. She's a master of minimalist aesthetics, using simple forms and natural materials to create spaces that are both beautiful and profound. Her art invites contemplation, it encourages dialogue, and challenges us to reconsider our relationship with the world around us. She's used her talents to create works that not only give us a moment to pause and commemorate the past, but also inspire us to build a better future. Her life and work serve as a powerful reminder of the transformative power of art, its ability to heal, to unite, and to inspire. This concludes this week's episode of Who Arted, part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. If you found this tolerable, please leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. You can find images of the work being discussed this week and every week on social media at Who Arted Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course on the website whoartedpodcast.com. Podcast done.